In the chapters of this biography, we journey through the Cambrian explosion, when animal life surged into the lineages we recognise today, when eggs were first nursed and cradled. We chart the egg's magnificent assault on the land, first through the ancestors of spiders and scorpions, then insects, then fish that first walked the shores and later the forests. Our journey takes in Triassic ponds brimming with mating amphibians, the rise of maggots and other insect larvae, the marsupials living in newly evolved pouches, and the rise of the most diminutive egg of all, the mammal egg as you and I know it. A single cell, the width of a hair, from which every human alive has passed. There is, naturally, a special place in our story for the eggs that encapsulated themselves in a layer of crystalline calcium and became the shelled eggs of some dinosaurs and, later, birds. A model example of how natural selection can modify egg shape, structure, colour and form, and how beauty can manifest itself upon nature without design or deity. But the evolution of the bird egg is just one story among hundreds of others that feature here. To write this evolutionary biography has, at times, been challenging. It took time to shift my perspective and view animals as bit-part players in the story of life for once. I've been writing books about animals for 15 years, yet this is the first time I've found myself having to look past them at this new, earlier evolutionary frontier. In time, as I worked through life's chapters, writing from this new perspective became clearer. In fact, by the end of infinite life, I began to see animals as little more than vehicles to make more eggs, which of course, in an evolutionary way, they are. However, there are times in this book when it may seem as if eggs have desires, wants or needs. The eggs wanted to move from the sea to the land. The eggs sought safety in the mammal uterus or hid themselves in crystalline bird eggshells. Nevertheless, eggs, devoid of a brain and incapable of an instructive thought, can clearly do very little else than simply be an egg. Eggs are not capable of knowing their journey. I give them agency at particular moments only to better tell an engaging story. Another challenge, which likewise required careful navigation, was on which animal eggs to focus. After all, there are many millions of animal species alive today and millions more that lived in the past. I decided to choose as diverse a spread of eggs as possible, from insects to mammals, from sea urchins to sharks, zooming in and out of their lives to best describe the ways the egg was revolutionising itself. My goal was to explore how evolutionary changes in the egg affected, shaped even, animals and their ecosystems through time. From before the Cambrian period, before animals as we know them today existed, through the Silurian period and Devonian period, when coastlines shifted and climates seesawed, into the Carboniferous, where bony land animals made advancements across continents. Then to the age of reptiles, the Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous, and into the modern day, where mammals are now having their turn at the top. Eggs were there, the whole way, evolving in a host of incredible directions. Some evolutionary flashpoints in egg history include the evolution of free-swimming sperm and egg in the midst of the pre-Ediacaran period, the evolution of the soma body, the seat of animal mortality, the evolution of internal fertilization and the implications this had for the sex lives of land animals, and, more recently, the evolution of the placenta, whose scar, once a fracture point between mother and offspring, sits a few inches above your lap. A further challenge in the writing was the fact that, at many points in Earth's history, very little is known about what some eggs looked like. The reason for this is that the fossil record is, by and large, biased towards hard things, bones, teeth, claws, shells, the things that fossilise well. Eggshell is, in many cases, in most species, too soft to fossilise. And so most prehistoric eggs have been lost to the sands and muds and death-consuming microorganisms of time. To fill in any gaps in our knowledge about eggs in evolutionary history, I've looked to closely related modern-day animal species for clues and hints, or, where DNA analysis allows, I've investigated